The Whisper from the Swamp. In the village of Blackwood, people did not like talking about the swamp. The elders would fall silent whenever someone mentioned its name. Mothers forbade their children from going near the northern edge of the forest. Even hunters avoided those parts. But no one ever explained why. When Artyom turned 16, he decided to find out the truth. It all began in late October. The days grew shorter, and at night a thick fog spread across the forest. One evening, the neighbor's dog disappeared. A massive German shepherd named Thunder wandered into the woods and never returned. 2 days later, they found him, or rather, what was left of him. The body lay on a trail near the swamp. There wasn't a single wound, not a drop of blood, only completely white eyes and a frozen expression twisted with terror. After that, the villagers began locking their doors even earlier. It has awakened. Artyom overheard 2 men whispering near the village store. "Be quiet," the other man snapped, but the word had already been spoken. It. No one explained what it meant. Curiosity would not leave Artyom alone. The following evening, he took a flashlight and headed toward the swamp. The forest greeted him with an unnatural silence. There were no birds, no wind. Even his own footsteps sounded too loud. Half an hour later, he reached the water's edge. The swamp looked ordinary enough. Black, motionless water, dry reeds, wisps of fog drifting above the surface. Then he heard a voice, Artyom. He froze. It was his mother's voice. It came from the opposite shore. "Artyom, help me." His heart began to race. Then he remembered. His mother was at home. He had seen her before leaving. "Who's there?" he shouted. No answer came, only a faint splash. Then again, "Artyom." This time the voice sounded closer, much closer, as if someone were standing right behind him. He spun around. No one. Only fog. Then the flashlight flickered, once, twice, and died. Darkness swallowed the forest instantly. In that darkness, he heard footsteps, slow, heavy, wet, as though something enormous was walking through mud. Artyom ran. Branches struck his face. Roots grabbed at his feet. But he never stopped. The footsteps followed, not faster, not slower, as if the creature knew it could catch him whenever it wished. Only when the lights of the village appeared ahead did the sounds vanish, as though they had never existed. Back home, Artyom told no one what had happened, but that night he awoke to a whisper, soft, barely audible. It came from beneath his window. "Artyom." He slowly approached the glass. The yard was empty, yet the whisper continued. Now it came from the barn. "Artyom." He closed the curtains and climbed back into bed. He did not sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, the village school teacher disappeared. They found her near the swamp, alive, but completely gray-haired. She recognized no one and repeated the same phrase over and over. "It's watching from the water." Within a week, more people began disappearing. Some were found, others were never seen again. That was when the oldest villager, Grandpa Yegor, finally told the truth. Long ago, an ancient settlement had stood where the swamp now lay. One day, the villagers discovered a strange creature in the forest, tall, thin, with impossibly long arms. Its face looked almost human, but its eyes were completely black. The villagers decided to kill it. They drowned it in the swamp. Before dying, it spoke a curse. "I will return for your voices." Since then, every few decades, it awakened again. The creature never killed immediately. First, it mimicked the voices of people you knew. Then it appeared in your dreams. And finally, it came for you. "How do we stop it?" Artyom asked. The old man was silent for a long time. "You don't." That night, the whispers returned. Only now there were many voices, dozens, hundreds. They echoed outside the house, under the floor, on the roof. Among them, Artyom recognized the voices of his dead grandfather, his neighbors, and even people who had disappeared days before. "Come to us. We're waiting. Come outside." By morning, the voices were gone, but when Artyom looked into the mirror, his blood ran cold. Long black marks had appeared around his neck, as though fingers had touched him while he slept. The following night, he decided not to sleep. He locked the doors, closed every window, and took his father's hunting rifle. The clock read 3:17. Sepshi tatarel. When the knocking began. Knock, knock, knock. Someone stood outside the front door. Artyom, open up. It was his mother's voice, but his mother was asleep in the next room. The knocking came again, harder, then harder still. The door trembled, and then everything went silent. Artyom carefully looked through the window and saw it. A towering figure stood by the gate, nearly 10 feet tall. Its gray skin hung in ragged strips. Its arms reached almost to the ground, and where its eyes should have been were two endless black holes. The creature slowly lifted its head and smiled. Far too wide, far too human. Then it spoke, in Artyom's own voice. I found you. The figure vanished, simply dissolved into the darkness. Then, a second later, a door creaked inside the house. Someone had entered. Footsteps echoed through the hallway, not from outside, from within, as though the creature had already been inside the house all along. Artyom grabbed the rifle and rushed out of his room. The hallway was empty, but wet footprints stretched across the floor. They led toward the basement. The basement hatch stood open. From the darkness below came the familiar whisper. Hundreds of voices speaking at once. Come down. Look at us. We're here. Artyom pointed his flashlight downward. The beam illuminated the walls, and then he saw them. Faces, dozens of human faces fused into the earth itself. Their lips moved, whispering, crying, staring directly at him. And in the center of the basement stood the creature. Slowly, it turned its head, and Artyom realized the horrifying truth. The monster wore his face, an exact copy. The creature smiled. Now it's your turn. The flashlight died. A scream pierced the darkness. The next morning, the villagers found the house empty. There were no signs of a struggle, no trace of Artyom, only an old mirror in the bedroom. Written across its fogged surface were 3 words, I'm still here. Since then, the people of Blackwood have told a warning. If you hear the voice of someone you know near the swamp at night, do not answer. Do not turn around. Do not follow the sound, because it is not them. And if the voice calls your name 3 times, the creature already knows where you live.